Char Margolis, Char Communications Incorporated, and CharVision, LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on CharVision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is CharVision. Hi everybody, it's Sunny and Char, and I'm very happy today because I have two people that are very dear to my heart here, and I don't know why I've never had them on my show before, and now they're making me feel guilty, like, why didn't you have them on already? And actually, one of them is, everybody at UBN knows Tony Sweet, right? Can clapping. Yeah. So it's because of Tony that I'm here. Because if it weren't for Tony, I would not have CharVision, and I'm so grateful to you.
And I'm so honored to have you here.
And I love you very much, and thank you.
Thank you. I love you.
And Tony's psychic sidekick in their show, The Truth Be Told, is Eddie Connor.
Yay.
Now, Eddie is a dear heart and an amazing psychic, and I said in season 5, we're not putting a lot of psychics on, but the only one I really wanted was Eddie.
Oh, thank you.
And there's a lot of people who are psychics, and there are a lot of gifted people, and a lot of people who aren't gifted, and a lot of people whose egos are in the way, and there's always good and bad in every profession. But not only are you a good psychic and medium, but you are a dear heart. And when I meet people and I feel a pureness and a kindness and a supportive energy, it just warms my heart because you don't have a jealous bone in your body.
No.
No.
I don't understand
you're
jealous
just,
bones.
No, you don't.
Because he pushes me out of the frame.
With my stare.
And so I'm grateful that you're both here with me today.
Well, thank you, Char.
And The Truth Be Told is like a very, very popular show everywhere. I mean, you have so many people now on YouTube and people on iHeartRadio.
Well, you're also on iHeart, so...
Yes, I am. I am on iHeartRadio, by the way, if you ever miss us here. But I'm fascinated with what you talk about, because you talk about conspiracy theories, right?
Everything.
And you do,
Everything.
And you do psychic readings, right?
Yes,
on the
sometimes.
show as well.
Yes.
And then you have seances on the show as well, right?
We've tried.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to hear the truth about this whole thing they're talking about. But, excuse me, so I would like to hear about a couple or a few of the most fascinating stories you've heard about that are just so far out there that no one would really believe it.
Eddie, you start so I can think of one.
Oh, I should have prepared you.
Thank you, Tony. For me, one of the most fascinating shows it was around the time the movie Annabelle came out, the horror movie about the doll. Mm-hmm. And how it was possessed or carried the negative entity, and it's based on a true story. Mm-hmm. We got to interview the gentleman that was part of the actual case of the doll Annabelle. Now, in the movie, the doll Annabelle it's like this monstrous looking thing, but in real life, it was like a little Raggedy Ann doll.
Oh.
And so we got to interview the guy with that, and then a separate occasion we got to interview this woman that's on one of the big ghost hunting shows. So they give us when they can, the behind the scenes things that nobody knows what happened off camera. So I love the behind the scenes paranormal, ghost, angels, all of that stuff. That's my favorite thing.
Like the things that go bump in the night,
yes,
right? And they really do, right?
Oh, yes, they go bump in the night.
We see that all the time.
Yeah, they go bump, touch, roll, shake,
yeah,
rock.
I mean, they make the lights go on and off. They make the TV go on and off. There's so many great spooky stories.
Yes, and I love that.
Ooh. Okay.
But I'm going to go see The Conjuring 2 in broad daylight.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I can't see those movies. They scare me too much.
Yep.
I just can't go see them. But this doll you're talking about, it's interesting. So is it like a possessed doll?
Yes. Yeah, and it's something...
And what happened behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, first of all, when you see it on the movie screen, it just looks like literally Dollzilla. But in real life, it's just this sweet-looking Raggedy Ann doll. So it's like, and Lindsay Wagner, we got to talk to Lindsay Wagner one time when she did Celebrity Ghost Stories.
Oh, yeah.
And they were in this haunted house in South Carolina, whoop, whoop, to the south. And there was the spirit of a little girl who was mentally retarded back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Now, in the South, y'all, we just locked them up in the attic or the basement. Yeah, they did. That's just what they did. So they were really wealthy. They kept the little girl up in the attic, and then they would have big dinner parties, and she would just act out upstairs in the attic.
Oh, no.
So the little girl passed away. The house ended up becoming really haunted with her energy. So Lindsay and her boyfriend at the time were staying there during the southeastern Woodstock kind of thing.
Yeah.
And food was flying off the shelves. Cabinet doors were opening and slamming and closing. Furniture was moving like crazy. They were stomping upstairs. And she was like, "What the heck are you doing up there?" He was like, "I slept on the sofa. I didn't hear anything." Further investigation, they found out it was the spirit of the little girl. But Lindsay went up and talked to it and sent it white light and did her little magic, and that was the end of it. Yes, completely helped it. But the way Celebrity Ghost Stories portrayed it, they all go fleeing out of the house in the middle of the night because there's something going to chase them to the car. Yeah, so I love the truth behind the scenes.
So how many years do you... Okay, so explain to us, Eddie, what an earthbound spirit is.
Someone bound to the earth.
Thank you, Eddie, for that commentary.
So thank you. It was a great lead-in. For me, I feel that they are spirits like the ghost I saw at my grandma's house.
Because that's what this little girl was. She was earthbound.
Yes, absolutely. And as soon as she felt and sensed activity downstairs, a party, what she interpreted as a party because they were playing music, it activated her. And so
the energy activated her because she knew she was being rejected, and she wanted to be a part of the good energy, the fun energy.
Yeah. And I think of it as a little ball of energy, as a part of the whole being that was the soul that was the girl when she was in that lifetime. So it's just a little pocket or envelope of energy. And they sent that envelope back to the light to reconnect back to the whole of her soul.
But how special is Lindsay Wagner for, I mean, I've always been a fan of hers when she was on whatever.
The Bionic Woman.
The Bionic Woman, yes. She was so, I mean, she's always so beautiful, but for her to understand this and to pray and to help that soul, think about it, everybody. How many souls are earthbound and stuck on the earth that need to go to the white light?
Yes, a bunch.
A real bunch. My goodness.
Yeah.
You know what I think sometimes, I believe that that some people are like literally physically, chemically imbalanced, but also some real crazy people, not only are they chemically imbalanced, they let the negative spirits come into them to do things. And I really feel that a lot of the homegrown terrorists, the lone wolves, the guy from Florida, from Orlando. Not only was he probably chemically imbalanced, because they said he was, you know, that he was abusive to his first wife, and God only knows to the other people around him. But that I believe that when they get more incensed with negative and evil, that's when there's an opening for them, for the negative spirits to come in and take over and do these horrific acts that are just, there's no words.
Yeah, and each of those spirits or clumps of negative energy just continues to compound and compound and compound and compound till it will direct the human that it's using as a host. Instead of the human directing their own consciousness. It's sad and scary.
It's so sad and scary. And, you know, the analogy that I've always learned is that goodness always has to work 10 times harder to win.
Yeah.
And to cover a coat of black paint, it takes 10 coats of white. It's a lot of work.
It's true.
To cover a coat of white paint, it takes 1 coat of black.
But I got a secret for that.
What?
It's all the years as a visual marketing designer. A winter witch. You take that black coat and you spray paint it with silver primer. And then you only need 1 coat of white. Hey, and that's what you do here for your audience.
Hey, oh, that's really, that's so great. Then we don't have to work so hard climbing up the mountain.
Girl.
Climbing up that hill. Because you work so hard, Eddie. I know how hard you work, and I know how dedicated you are to being a psychic and healing and helping people. And I know you do many things that you never even tell people about.
Lord, I'm just turning red.
Yeah, but you know what? Seriously, you're so sweet and so dear. Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you.
Now, you guys are like partners in crime. Like, I mean, you guys are so connected, like brothers, right?
I think
The two
so.
of you.
Yeah.
So,
Brother, sister.
okay, and the other person, what'd you say?
He said brother, sister.
So, for those of you who don't really know Tony, I mean, I've been blessed to get to know Tony in the past year, and we've spent a lot of time together, and I can honestly say that your intent to help people get their visions out, get their work out, help the healing, help the paranormal work be understood, is you, and you've done an amazing job with it, and people have no idea how hard this man works. Now, I don't know if any of hopefully your listeners are listening. Seriously, he eats, sleeps, and drinks this place. I mean, he barely has a day off, and when he has a day off, it's not really a day off because he's always. And I'm going to say something that's going to totally embarrass him.
Oh, let me move out of the frame.
Tony has an elderly mom who lives in another state, who lives in assisted care living. He talks to her every single
That's true.
day. As busy as he is, and I promise you he's busy. And just imagine all the people on UBN who are calling him saying, well, why wasn't my show better than that show? And why, if there were maybe an ego or two around.
You get those calls too.
Yeah. And, I just am like overwhelmed with your kindness and your goodness in how much you love your mama and how you take care of her.
Thank you.
Because
I do love my mama.
and you don't really take care of yourself as well as you take care of everybody else, but you're starting to learn to take care of yourself because that's like really, really important, and we love you.
Thank
And
you.
so, okay, now that I've got that, now that I've buttered him up, maybe he'll let me on another season. I want to know one of your stories of the truth be told. I want to know a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Actually, one that popped into my head. That,
What?
Because we've just did, I think, 302 broadcasts of Truth Be Told. So we're getting
How many?
there. Almost over 300. I think 302.
Wow.
Yeah. And Eddie's like, really?
I feel young now.
But one that popped into my mind. It was one of our first interviews that we did. His name was Clifford Moody. He's a Zuni elder. He lives in New Mexico. At the time he was, I think, 89 years old. He was in military intelligence back in the day, and so his
In the
story
70s, around the time we were having the national gas crisis and the war and all of that stuff.
Yeah, and so he just
He's doing
the
quotes.
But he was, in fact, was funny. He wanted Eddie to give him a reading, which I thought was a big honor for.
Yeah. Oh, after the show.
Yeah, after the show, but he, his stories of the conspiracy theories of what's going on from the UFOs to just conspiracies that goes on within the government.
Which one of them was, not to interrupt him,
Please
but
do.
one of them was during the crisis, the gas was really high. People were putting gas containers in their trunks. Cars were exploding. Of course, I had a Ford Pinto, so
But there really wasn't a gas.
there wasn't
issue.
one. It was his job during that crisis to burn 1 million gallons of gas a day.
Wow.
A day to keep it from getting out to the country. A day.
Oh
It's true.
my.
It's true.
And that was just one of the snippets.
just one of the, but that's an example of just some of the stuff that we get to hear,
And these people are really like
they're truthful. I mean,
they're truthful. They're not like out to like just make up stories.
No.
This really happens with our government.
all the
day.
time. I mean, if you go back in history and people, I remember even after 9/11, and I don't want to get into that, but people say, oh, our government would never do that. But if you go back in history, our government has done from day one from experiments to getting, sinking our own ships, getting us into wars.
Right.
And so, I mean, this was on record. This is not just people hearsay. It's on record.
And they deliberately, like most governments do, they target the minorities first, the people who have no voice, people that they feel the rest of the country aren't remotely interested in caring about. And that's the people they will target the most and inject them with everything from syphilis to
Whoa.
Yes.
To AIDS.
Yes.
To AIDS, and then blame it on
Absolutely.
the poor gay people.
Absolutely.
That's what.
Yeah.
I can't even go there with.
Yeah, but the funny thing is starting to get
Prejudice.
exposed now more than ever before.
And forgive me because I don't remember this exact story, but somebody, I don't know, Tony, if you told me this, Richard Nixon took
Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason. Tell us the story.
So Jackie Gleason and Richard Nixon were very good friends, and Jackie Gleason was always trying to, get
Information.
Nixon to tell him about UFOs, and he never would. And I guess one night in Florida, Jackie Gleason and Nixon had houses down there, and Nixon pulls up. He was president. Nixon pulls up to Jackie's house and said, "Get in the car." And there's no Secret Service. There's nobody else but him in the car. They drive, and he goes, "Where are you taking me?" He just sit back.
And what state were they
This
in?
was in Florida.
Okay, Florida.
They
Where
drive.
all great things happen.
Yeah, they drive to one of the, I think, Air Force base down there, or a military base. They pull up to the gate, and the soldier said, "Oh, hello, Mr. President," and the gate opens. They drive in. They go to a hangar, and they go into this hangar. They walk through this room, and there is two alien bodies laying on a table.
Were they dead?
They were dead. They were dead. And Jackie was shocked. Shocked. And of course, Nixon says, don't tell anybody.
How
But
did we find out?
Jackie Gleason, how people do, they get a little drunk and they go to
away we
parties
go.
and away
Like to
we go.
drink, yeah.
And he started telling people at parties what he saw. That's from Jackie's own mouth.
And Ronald Reagan, we had a guest on the show that talked about Ronald
Twice.
Reagan having Shirley MacLaine at one of the parties, and he pulled her to the side and told her about two of his extraterrestrial experiences,
times
not
he
just
saw
seeing a ship, but
her,
the
him
ship
and
being
Nancy.
there.
Ronald Reagan?
Once when he was in I think Air Force One.
Yes.
And then the other one, Nancy and him are driving to a party.
Up on Mulholland Drive in the middle of the night coming home, and a ship is in the middle of the road. And
I believe it.
they get out,
I
and then
totally
they're
believe in
communicating.
UFOs. I've
seen
felt
5.
them.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Do you communicate with them like spirits? And there must be good and evil ones, just like there
they're
are
both.
Yeah,
like
telepathic.
telepathically. And
Yeah.
but there's got to be good and bad ones.
There are.
Just like there's good and bad spirits and good and bad people. Everything has balance.
Yes.
How do you know the good ones?
For me, it's by how it feels, because
Right.
I've had that experience, but on a different dimensional thing. Like whenever I was a kid, there was this little one that would always lean into the door frame of our bedroom. Now, I never told anybody this. And if the wall was right here, it would always go like that with his fingers and then lean out that way, and I would just put my little head under the covers and squeeze my butt cheeks real tight so it would go away. It's the opposite of I Dream of Jeannie. And then I saw that thing 2 or 3 years, and then in my 50s, my brother Terry said, "Listen, when we moved down to that trailer," it was a single wide, when we moved down to that trailer in the woods, did you ever see anything in the doorway? And he saw the exact same thing that I had seen for years, but neither one of us talked about it. and it was a little gray.
And do any of your experts say that there'll be some UFO, like that it'll come to the awareness of the world
In our lifetime.
in our lifetime? In
I
my
think
lifetime too?
Some people we've asked, they just say we don't know. Some people say yes.
I have this theory that they have rules and they can only do so much. They can only, like even with spirits, I feel like there's rules. They can only do so much.
Right.
Like they can't, like there's some written rules that they can't surpass.
Well, they've saved us many times from our own
so,
destruction.
too. Yeah.
From nuclear wars to
I
other
believe that.
We interviewed Laura Eisenhower, President Eisenhower's great-granddaughter.
Oh.
I mean, and a lot of people are like, oh my God, that sounds crazy, what the things she says. But she goes from conspiracy theory to saying, yes, my great-grandfather met aliens face to face. We already have colonized.
Eisenhower. Do you know he used to spend his time in Palm Springs?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
that's where he
at
disappeared.
Seven Lakes Golf Course, he made a hole-in-one, and it's it was his favorite time in
Oh, really?
all of California. And there's a plaque there, and he spent so much time in Palm Springs. And you know who else spent a lot of time in Palm Springs?
Who?
Einstein.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, well, I really don't want to wrap this up, but we have to. Do you want to just quickly tell us give us something good about your show, or when you can watch, and what you're doing, or how can people get readings? Tell me.
They can watch the show every Friday, 4 p.m. to
4 to
6
6.
p.m.
At UBN.
Pacific
Radio 4
time.
Star Show.
Yep, UBN Radio and/or at truthbetoldwebtv.com.
Okay.
And we always have great guests, always, and it's fun. So we always learn something too. And readings, you can go to eddieconnor.com, CONNER, because I'm an not an or.
Okay, Eddie's told me stuff. He's really good. So if you want a reading, call Eddie.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, guys. I
Thank
love you
you.
both.
I love you
Thank
too.
Love
you
you
so
too.
much for being
Love you,
here.
Sleepy
Yeah,
Sunny.
thank you. Yeah, Sunny loves you guys too. You guys don't go away because we've got some really thing. Alicia. Oh my God, my sister's gonna be on. Alicia's going. Alicia, my sister's gonna be on. Don't go away. If you like what you've seen on CharVision, then go to char.net and book a personal reading with me, or join a group reading, or join one of my workshops where I teach you to be psychic and intuitive. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So my sister's here. I forgot she was going to be on. I'm so excited, and I haven't seen her in so long. Hi, Dr. Tisdale.
Hi, Shalini. I miss you, Char.
I miss you too. See, now that everybody knows my real name is Charlene. Okay, so.
See, I got your CharVision cup right here.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so literally everybody, my biggest fan in the world is my big sister, Alicia Tisdale, Dr. Tisdale. But the real star in my family, I feel, is my sister Alicia as well.
Oh, you've
Yes.
been my teacher about all of this work.
Yeah, but you teach
Yeah.
me how to cook too, though.
You what?
Well, you teach me how to cook.
Oh, yeah.
No, but you teach me so much, Alicia, and you're always there for me, and I love you. But
I
Alicia,
love you too.
Dr. Tisdale is a past life regressionist and amazing at it. I mean, really amazing at it. Oh, Alicia, tell
What?
everybody about don't tell them who they are, but the kids who could not pass the ACT and the SAT, tell us about that. And then you regressed them, and they did.
Yeah, I hypnotized this one young man about 4 years ago. He couldn't get into university he wanted into, and he needed a higher score on the CT test. What do you think? Hypnotized him, and he got into the university, got a higher score. 4 years later, he came back.
Okay, so you're breaking up, Alicia. The Skype isn't great. So I just want everybody to I'm gonna interpret in English what you just said. Alicia said that somebody had an SAT score at 4 years ago, and he couldn't pass it. She regressed him, and he took it, and he passed it. Okay, so then what was the other one, Alicia?
And then I don't think I even told you, he came back 4 years later, which is a couple months ago, because he's trying to get into medical school. He had to take his MedCats I hypnotized him again, and his mother said he did better on his Metcats, and he's waiting to hear from the medical school.
That's amazing. So he did better after you regressed him.
Yeah,
And so
I hypnotized him.
Okay.
I didn't do a regression. I did a combination.
So when you hypnotize them, you don't take them back to their childhood or anything, or what do? I
just listen to my guides and do what they tell me to do, and it's different every time. And so, but then this mother of this kid told other mothers, and so now I've had a couple of kids, and I had a doctor who couldn't pass her boards, and I hypnotized her. She passed her boards. How do you like that? But I don't think it's me. You see, I think I'm just listening to my guides that are really there and are powerful. Okay, so I'm lucky.
I'm sure you know what your guides are telling me.
What?
Your guides are telling me you have to sit back a little bit so people can see your face. There you go. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Your new guide is Elisa Rothstein, the producer.
Wait, I didn't hear that.
Okay, so okay, and then when you do a past life regression, tell us how that can help heal someone. Give us an example.
Well, I take the person back to the source of the problem. And I'll give you an example. A young girl came to see me. This is a couple years ago, but it's the example that comes to my mind. And she had been to help to get rid of her depression, and the therapy and the medication was not working. And so I was a last resort, and I find this to happen frequently, that people come to me when nothing else works. And I've been very fortunate much of the time, because when I took this particular young lady, 16 years old, and good thing her mother was sitting there, because she would never have believed it. The girl went back to the Holocaust.
Oh.
She went back to where, in detail, she described the soldiers, the SS coming for her, her mother, her father, and her sister.
Wow.
She described the trucks. She described them. I learned more about this stuff from these people having experienced it in a past life than from reading about it.
And Alicia's an avid reader, so.
I read a lot. But anyways, the truck took them to the trains, to the cattle cars.
Yeah.
And her mom and dad were separated from her and her sister. And she never saw them again. And she described in detail how she and her sister were marched to the showers. You know, they were really the gas chambers. And she described how the bodies were piling up and how frightened her sister was. And it's hard for me to talk about it. And she told her sister, I will always take care of you. So at the end, when I took her to be healed from the trauma and the depression, she said, oh my God, I'm back here with my mother and my father and my sister in this life.
Oh.
And the mother was crying and I was crying.
Oh.
And the interesting thing, they are not Jewish in this life.
Oh. Wow.
And so that was a healing force. What about some of the cases you and I have worked on together?
Oh, that's a good idea. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Well, because we've been given permission, because it's in our book in Dutch.
Okay, so everybody, we wrote a book. It's only in Dutch right now. I really need to publish it in English, but it's
okay.
I
so
needed
these
a book
are
for the Netherlands when I had my shows there, so we published it. Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
So, anyways, this was an 11-year-old boy. Now, this is already almost 20 years ago that we did this one.
Wow.
And by the way, we do this a lot in my office. So many of my people want Char to come to their session and have a reading while I'm there. And it's one lady never came back. I never told you this. You did such a good job. She never came back again. She was not better.
Well, at least she was healed. That's your job, is to heal them so they don't need to come anymore.
Right, but I tell people you cut out 6 months to a year of therapy.
Thank you,
And,
Lisa.
and somebody said to me, so why do you do that? I said, because that's what I'm supposed to do. The better people can be healed, the faster, the better it is.
So true.
Yeah.
You're such an honest, pure, good soul, though. I mean, you're so honest about wanting people to get help. So
my goodness. So anyways, this was an 11-year-old kid, and you probably remember. And he was fearful, phobic. He wouldn't go out of the house. He wouldn't go into certain rooms in the house. And the psychiatrists this was a university town, the best psychiatrists could not help him. And so the parents, the father is a scientist, and he never believed in any of this kind.
Sit back, Alicia. They're laughing at you. Sit back.
What? Oh, okay. So anyways, the parents read Dr. Weiss's book, my dear friend Dr. Weiss, who taught me this work. And gave me confidence to do this work.
Right.
And so they found out that there was somebody who did this kind of work in the area, and they came to see me. And this kid, after 3 sessions, was doing so much better. And then a couple months later, the mother called and said he's going backwards. He's not going to school again. He's afraid. And I said, well, you have to see my sister Char. She'll figure it out for us. So do you remember that?
Kind of.
Yeah, so they came to see you. And
I do remember that young boy. Is he a doctor now?
A lawyer.
A lawyer. Okay,
He's
I remember him.
So they came to see you, and you told the parents that there was a spirit in their house.
Oh.
And we had to release the spirit. This is something else. I rarely do this.
Right.
But I did it for them. And they told, you told the parents that in their attic was child pornography. Get it out of there.
I did?
Yep.
Was there?
And sure enough, they found child pornography. The guy who died in that house had child pornography. They got rid of it. The boy came back to me, and I released that spirit through him.
I forgot about that I saw that.
Yeah, and then so now the kid went through school, went through college. He's a lawyer.
That's amazing. I mean, seriously, that's Alicia, thank God you have a better memory than I do about these stories.
Well, because you have so many more stories than I do.
But no, you have amazing stories. You have amazing stories, but I miss you and I love you and we've got to go. But,
good. Okay, I'm glad we got together.
I'll talk to you. Yeah, I'm glad we got
together.
Give my love
to everybody over there.
Okay, they all send love and hugs and kisses. They're all kissing you.
Mwah!
And
everybody.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you. Okay.
Love
Okay,
you.
everybody. I love you guys too, but don't go away because
Bye,
I have a
everybody.
reading coming up. Okay, I'm ready to talk to a lovely man who's sitting here. His name is Alejandro, and that's all I know about you, except that he's handsome. Okay, so I need you to be open-minded about everybody living and deceased. Don't say any names. If more than one person share the same name or initial, if you could let me know that, your messages will go more smoothly. And it's not logical. Two people may share the same name or initial because I hear phonetically and I have to interpret what I get.
Okay.
So one of those people might be living and one might be deceased. They may have the same name or middle name, or the first name might be the same as the middle name of someone living or someone deceased. So just be open about everybody, and we'll figure this out. Now, having said that, I understand that when people come for readings, they usually either have their own agenda or they have questions about their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm completely on the same page as you are with this. In fact, my goal is to answer that before you can even ask. However, before I do that, I always say a prayer of protection, and I say a prayer because I have been doing this over 44 years, and every single person I read for, I say prayer of protection. So you'll let me do that. You don't mind, right? It's universal.
No, yeah, go ahead.
We ask the universal consciousness that holds the highest spiritual power of knowledge, wisdom, and truth to guide and protect us as we communicate with our guides and angels in the spirit world and tap into the wisdom of the universe. We respect this opportunity and take full responsibility to use this not for ego or controlling others, but with the pure intention of spreading love and healing life on this earth and beyond. Do you have like I'm seeing somebody who's like a Maria or Marie, or could be a middle name. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Is this your mom, your grandma? Who is this?
Middle name Maria.
Is this your mother or your grandmother?
The middle names are tough, but my sister's middle name is Maria.
Maria, is she living, your sister?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're close with her?
No. Well, actually,
You're not close with her?
Unfortunately, I'm not, no.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm feeling, that's why I asked if you were close to her, because I was feeling I feel like she might be a little dysfunctional, and that you do need to keep your distance with certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're family, it's better to keep your distance.
Mm-hmm.
And who is Jose or Juan or?
There's a...
or J?
There's a J.
Is it a male?
Yeah.
Is it J-O? Or
J-O, yeah.
like
There's
John or Joseph or Jose or Joaquin? I don't know the name. It's J-O something. Is it a H, J?
And it's a Ho.
Ho.
It might be...
Yeah, him. Who's that?
Well,
Is that your dad or your grandpa?
well, my grandfather and my dad have the same name.
Yeah. Jose or... I don't know. It's a
Jorge.
name like that. Jorge. Okay, yeah, okay, close enough. Which one's deceased?
My grandfather, Jorge.
Yeah, he's with you. Who either had an old pickup truck or an old vehicle, or worked on cars or trucks? Was that him?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I
why
have
am I
very little memory of him. He died when I was very young.
Okay, that's all right. He's showing me an old vehicle, like an old truck or an old car.
I mean, as far as, I don't know, my uncle who's still living.
Does he work with his hands or on cars or trucks?
He does. I mean, now he used to ride motorcycle, and he does work on cars and trucks as far as.
Okay, are you friendly with him?
I was
And then-
in my childhood, and now I'm
now not.
distanced. Yeah.
So are you distanced from most everybody there?
Yeah.
I feel so bad that you had to go through this. But my feeling is that you had to. And I'm not sure exactly why, but maybe too much dysfunction or also a jealousy of you. Are you like successful and they're not? Or
I'm trying to get there.
I feel like you're going to be. And do you ever like put on productions or produce or?
I'm in the industry. Yes, I'm a cinematographer.
Cinematographer. Okay, you've got some really good opportunities coming up for you.
That's good.
Yeah. Do you have like an agent that helps you, or a manager, or somebody who opens the door for you?
I do have a new agent now.
I feel like they're going to help. You need to keep in touch with them.
Okay.
You need to keep in touch with them. You need to stay on top of it. And by the way, your grandfather who's deceased, Jorge, he's saying that you have every right to feel the way you feel about the family and everybody else. Although someone's going to try to reel you in again.
In a bad way?
Well, to be friends or to connect with you, but then they hurt you. In the family, did someone?
Yeah, my sister and I have troubles.
It's better to keep your distance with her. Where's your mom in all this?
She lives close to my sister, and my sister and my parents live very close together, so they see each other well.
So your sister kind of controls them in a way emotionally, and kind of brainwashes them in a weird way.
Yeah. And she's the younger one, and she's also the closest one to them.
Yeah, but she's really nutty. It's like the inmates have taken over the asylum.
She's got her ways. I
But
think she's finding herself as well, though.
But it's good for you to keep your distance with this, because I feel I don't. You can never ever really ever trust her. I hate to say that because I know it's your sister, but I feel like you always have to be careful because you'll be reeled in, and it's because it's your family. So.
Well, I want the best for her.
Of course you do, but you don't want to set yourself up for hurt.
No.
You really don't. Who's Roberto or Robert or Ricardo or R?
Family?
Maybe.
Rodrigo?
Pardon?
Rodrigo is an uncle, but he's
Rigo.
Rodrigo,
Rodrigo.
but he's living right now. And he does the same thing I do.
That's why I'm getting him.
He's older.
But he never helped you, or did he help you?
No, but I mean, spiritually, I think we both.
I think he's a nice man.
Yeah, he's does his own thing. He's very independent. But he does the same thing I do. And he's in the family.
I have a feeling you're really gifted at what you do.
I hope to think so.
Like it's magical what you can figure out. Like you know what? You're intuitive about it. You're intuitive about, oh, I better make the camera this way, and then like the light was hitting you just right, so you were like, got it.
Yeah.
You're intuitive about it. You have a good gut. Always listen to that instinct and always act upon it.
Okay.
You need to be optimistic. I feel like you get sad.
Yeah, I do.
You get sad too much. And I feel like you need to like have more faith. Do you pray?
Not necessarily a lot.
Okay, I just feel that prayer is important because it's positive thinking. So whatever religion anybody is, I just feel it's important. So prayer is positive thinking, and you want to, if you want to do some things to help you, you can envision yourself in a white light, like a bright white light, and then swirl the lights around you, and anything dark or negative coming at you, you want to send back to where it came from. And also then you can put yourself inside an egg that has a mirror around it. One of my guests taught me about this, and it really works. You go inside an egg, you see yourself inside an egg, and it has a mirror around it, and then the negative will bounce off.
I had a dream about that once.
You had a dream about that once?
Yeah.
About the egg?
Yeah.
What was your dream?
I was pretty young. There was two dreams. They're about a year apart exactly. It was getting into the egg, traveling through space, and then in the first dream, the egg stops in the middle of that space.
Wow.
And then the second dream, and eventually finishes that journey.
It does?
Yeah.
Is there a mirror around the egg, though? Put a mirror around your egg from now on.
Okay.
Because anything negative coming at you, you want to bounce back to where it came from.
It was more of a clear.
It was clear? That's okay. I mean, that's a great dream.
Yeah.
That's a really...
It was a scary dream. It was a very scary dream, actually.
Okay, but put the mirror around it.
Okay.
And if you dream like it again, put the mirror around it, and so it won't scare you anymore, because then anything, if it's trying to scare you, will bounce back to where it came from.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you meditate? I feel like you need to meditate.
I tried. I used to. It's tough to...
I'm going to give you a present. I had a composer who's a musician and also a healer make this tape. It's called Chakra Therapy by Shar Margolis, or with Shar Margolis, and it helps balance your chakras, and it makes you aware. It takes an hour. And you either feel amazing when you're done or you fall asleep.
That's good.
So that's for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Because it will help you. Do you feel like chemically off sometimes? Because you're sad? Have you talked to anyone about this?
Yeah, I'm taking therapy now.
Yeah, they're going to help you. They just have to figure it out.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
I've been just trying to. I've been trying to do that all my life.
You will figure it out. Just takes a little time, but I have to tell you, even though that's troubles you at times, this other part of your brain is genius at what you do. And you love going into the fantasy world of creativity. That's why you're so good at it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who are genius at their craft like that are have the same issues you have.
But it's tough tapping into that sometimes.
Tapping into which one?
That part.
The creative part?
Yeah, that part where you're just creating. You're not worrying about other.
Well, you know what it
things around
is.
you.
You overthink everything.
Yeah, I do.
And so you let fear get in your way. And fear we call the 4-letter F word, false evidence appearing real.
Mm-hmm.
And what you also need to understand is that we live in a physical world and we live in an energetic world. And in the energetic world, there's positive and negative energies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's good and bad spirits. And so when you consciously do the protection, like you take a shower every day, do the white light and the egg thing every day and send it back to where it came from. Because Mark Twain said, to paraphrase him, said, my biggest problem never happened, which means my biggest worry never happened. And you overthink way too much everything.
Yeah.
You make a big deal out of things that don't need to be made a big deal out of, and you make yourself nuts about it.
I know. It's genetic. My mom had it.
Well, that's got to really be difficult to live with.
Yeah, it is.
So stop it.
Okay.
Lighten up a little bit. Have some fun.
Yeah.
Is she your girlfriend? There's a lovely lady in here, and she's lovely. And I
Yes.
feel like she's like, you guys can have fun together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's okay. It also comes with age.
Yeah.
You'll choose it. You'll
I know.
choose, what, I just don't want to deal with this anymore,
That's how my mom kind of changed. That's how she changed.
I'll look at something and I'll go, God, I gained weight or whatever, and I get upset with myself, and then, which is so stupid because I turn on the TV and all these people are losing their houses in fires.
Yeah. Perspective definitely puts it in
For all of us. We
Yeah.
all need to put things in perspective and look at our cups half full. L'chaim. You know what that means?
No.
To life.
Hebrew.
L'chaim is to life.
Hebrew.
Yep, it's Hebrew.
Hmm.
Stay in touch with your new agent.
Okay.
Make sure they're working for you. And you need to network and find your own jobs too.
Yeah,
with the people you know. Don't just count on agents or managers. Get your own things going too. And because I feel like you're going to get very busy and you're going to be traveling and working.
I just don't know. I'm hoping that, but I really don't know where. I'm kind of lost in the career.
You throw a bunch of stuff up on the wall, something's going to stick. Don't give up. Are you doing something else to make a living, like to pay bills or?
No, I'm just getting whatever I can.
Good. Keep doing it. Something good will come around.
Okay.
What do you edit?
Do I edit?
Yeah.
Not regularly, but just my work and just little things here and there.
Okay.
It's a very tedious profession.
Because you're a cinematographer.
Because sometimes you don't have the control. You have somebody else wanting certain things.
Right. Okay. All right, do you have other questions?
What is my life path or destiny, I guess, is what I want to know. I've always trying to figure out who I am.
Everybody, the main goal for everybody is to learn self-love.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're selfish. It means your needs matter. And when you learn self-love and you learn to do what is right for you, sometimes I feel like you don't feel like you deserve success or you don't deserve happiness, even though you want it. You have to work for yourself as if you were working for your own child or your closest loving person.
Yeah. I always feel like I want to give first.
That's so sweet. There's nothing better than giving, but you got to give to yourself first so you can give to others. Keep going to your therapist.
Mm-hmm.
They'll help you out.
So who's with me? Who's watching over me?
You have angels who've walked with you since birth, but the grandfather I picked up on,
Mm-hmm.
Jorge, I feel like he's around you. Your friend came in to let you know he's okay, but like he won't be around you all the time, but he'll be around you when you need it. What's an S or C? There's not an S or C with the dog's name, right?
No.
Is there a B?
B.
Starts with B?
Mm-hmm.
B with the R in it or an
Mm-hmm.
N?
R.
Like bear or B-R?
Brutus.
Brutus. Okay, well, Brutus is here. And Brutus is thanking you for all the love, and maybe you need another one. Did you get another one yet? You gonna? It's too hard.
We're thinking about it, but it's tough.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the BR. With the S. Brutus. That's why I got all the sounds. So this little doggy's here and just wants you to know he loves you. You'll end up with another dog, though. You guys will have another dog. Do you live together?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. You need to lighten up. You just need to start having fun. Stop worrying so much. But
That's
just,
what I'm trying to do, yeah.
you know what? We make plans and God laughs. So you just keep working and having fun while you're going along and keep opening doors for your career, and it'll come to you. Because if you weren't talented, it'd be one thing, but you're talented.
I'm just not feeling like anybody's listening now.
Stop playing a victim.
Okay.
Shape up.
Okay.
Your house isn't burning in the hills.
True.
You're healthy.
Yes.
Touch wood. You're handsome. You got a beautiful girlfriend. You've got all kinds of really great things. Stop playing a victim. Everybody has their journey.
Okay. And what can I do as far as, in career-wise, as far as dealing with other people and just, because I feel like it's either magnetic, it's either I repel or I attract. It's weird.
Well, you're not good at being phony.
No.
Sometimes you just have to smile and be nice to everybody. It works out better.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to do that.
It's hard to do it, but sometimes everybody's got to do that
Yeah.
to survive in this society.
Yeah. It's
Then when you catch yourself doing it, so you know the difference, because you know you do it.
yeah.
Then stop sabotaging your opportunities, because there may be somebody who is like maybe not your favorite person but can give you jobs.
Possibly.
Everybody has to put up with, Alicia has to put up with me every Friday. She's kissing me. She's like, she wants a raise. I promise you the what I'm giving you is common sense as well. But my mom always said, common sense isn't all that common. So, and I always say when you use logic, common sense, and intuition, you get your best answers. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Stop yourself when you know you're being difficult. Just grit your teeth, bite your tongue, and just know the karma, if they're jerks, will go back upon them on its own. Trust me, karma is a bitch. So is Sharma. Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you
honey.
so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I get a hug.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going out of the camera now. See ya.
Yeah, no, that's the first reading I've ever had. I wasn't expecting my friend to be coming here because I've actually I feel bad because I've forgotten about that childhood friend of mine that I did have, and then I recall that my mom did call me and it's like he passed, and I'm like, really? So it did hit me, but it's weird. It's like it's modern life. You kind of think about just the present and a lot of the future, but then you kind of forget about the past sometimes, and sometimes the past is pretty important. So I'm glad that he's there. I'm glad my grandfather's there, because I would think that I didn't know him very long because he died when I was very young, but I'm glad he's there too. He's a strong figure. So,
What was it like when she said Brutus was around you guys? You can chime in too, Genta.
I didn't. I mean, I was a little surprised, but not so much as well, because.
Tell me that in the whole thought, because they won't hear my voice when we edit this. So when Brutus came through.
I believe that when she brought up Brutus, who we did lose several months ago, that I was a little bit surprised, but I also at the same time I knew that he's kind of always with us, and it really did hit me pretty hard that we lost him, because he was so young. He was still so young. So, but he's so full of life, and he did bring some good times, even though I knew him only for a year.
What was that like for you, Genta, to hear that?
It was a giant gift from the other side. I was not expecting Brutus to come at all. I was here as a support for Alejandro, and the moment she brought him up, my whole heart exploded and tears came off of my face. This happened. It was truly a huge gift for me and for both of us, because I know Brutus really impacted Alejandro's life and everyone else's life. He was a precious little man. So
Alejandro, would you say that prior to this, were you sort of a skeptic or a believer, and has that changed now?
I think at one point I was a skeptic, somewhat, but I don't know, as you get older, you just start kind of like, as you put life together and you're trying to figure out how things work, dealing with life, that you begin to think that something in the spiritual is definitely possible, and it's definitely there. It's very hard to explain, but I mean, it has to be there. We feel so much in both ways that it's got to impact. It's another type of energy that kind of transcends and travels and interacts and all these things, that it's something we just don't see, but it's definitely there.
So would you say you're now a believer?
Yeah, I think I was a believer now and earlier on, but earlier in life, probably not so much.
Great.
Thank you so much for being here today. I want to thank Eddie and Tony and Dr. Alicia Tisdale and Sunny Margolis, and especially all of you. I love you. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week on CharVision.